So let's do a brief overview of the real estate market in 2025, and I'll share a few trends or projections that we would experience in this year 2026, and how you as an investor can position yourself for the opportunities in this year 2026. Are you ready? Hi, my name is Landlady. I'm an expert in real estate and I provide decent housing solutions. Basically, I help you grow your net worth through profitable investments in real estate. So let's get right into this video, starting with a review of 2025. First, let's do a sector performance. So in real estate, we have the residential sector, we have the commercial sector, we have industrial, we have farming, right? So in 2025, the residential sector grew really strongly, and this was fueled by population growth, migration, relocation, and the shortage of quality housing, right? Our housing deficit is currently estimated at over 27 million units. So we experienced more demand for residential real estate, both house sales and rentals. So I would say in 2025, the rental market, the residential market performed better than other aspects of real estate. Secondly, price appreciation. How did appreciation do? Now, property values climbed steadily, not rapidly, across Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan. However, appreciation on land wasn't as it has been in previous years. It was a bit slow. Appreciation on land was a bit slow. Instead, we saw more appreciation on houses due to inflation, exchange rates, persistent demand, like I said before. Yeah. So land did not really do so well when it comes to appreciation. It appreciated, but not as we have seen in the last 3 to 5 years. But the rental market did fantastic. Now, the third thing that we saw in the real estate market is the rental market strength grew. Inflation pushed rental yields, rental prices by up to 6%. Some properties went up by 18%, and we even saw a 100% increase in rent, depending on the location and the type of property. We literally saw property owners, landlords, increasing the rent of their properties by over 100% for no other reason other than inflation, high demand, and high cost of living. I think I personally saw a lot of videos on social media where property renters were calling out their landlords over outrageous increase in price, both for residential and for commercial properties, right? Rental prices went up. So overall, I would say in 2025, the rental market performed way better in 2025. Now, moving on to what's trended in 2025, I'll highlight a few things, a few notable trends that happened in 2025. The first one is we saw more adoption of emerging and tier 2 markets. In previous years, we as realtors and property developers, we would have to convince investors, we would talk and try to convince investors to invest in other cities. But in 2025, more investors became open to investing in secondary markets like Ibadan, Oka, Port Harcourt, right? Because we now see infrastructure projects unlocking growth potential and more affordable entry points in those cities. And that's even because the tier 1 cities that we have always loved and accepted, which is Lagos and Abuja, have become populated and pricey. Right, so we now have more investors being more open-minded to invest in tier 2 locations, and I love to see it. I love to see investors positioning in those markets because they are the future. The emerging cities are the future. Another trend that we saw in 2025 is more commercial development projects. Commercial development gained traction. Developers who were mostly known for residential projects launched commercial projects. This one is particularly brilliant and is a welcome development because residential real estate caters to housing, providing shelter. But commercial investments, I like to say that it caters to nation building, production, employment, taxes, logistics, and everything commerce. So it's a good one to see that more developers are venturing into the commercial sector, and I hope that we really double down on that in this year and then in the coming years, right? Another trend that we saw a rise in agricultural farming estates in Nigeria's real estate sector. This particular trend is my favorite, right? And it's not just driven by investment returns on investment and all that. It's because of a need to strengthen food security. I said sometime last year or 2 years ago that A lot of developers, every day we are felling trees, we are converting our agricultural land into residential because of our population. If we continue to convert lands into residential in the coming years, in the next 20-30 years, we are going to have to deal with food security because there are no more farmlands. All the farmlands have been converted to residential. So it's beautiful to see that in 2025, more developers saw the need to develop farming projects, to inculcate farming projects in their development. And this was my favorite trend for 2025. We saw palm oil project, I saw cassava, I saw cashew nuts. So which one did you see? Let me know in the comment section. We also had this project where there was like investment packages where you can invest a couple of millions and then you get returns on investment after 6 months, 1 year. It was really good to see. So I hope that we double down on that as well and invest more in the agri industry. It's the future. So moving on, the challenges that we saw in 2025. One major challenge was financing. Yeah, financing. High mortgage costs, limited access to cheap credit, constrained supply, and it slowed down the delivery timeline of many new development projects. There was inflation on the other side, pushing materials and labor costs up, delaying project timelines and squeezing profit margins for developers. This was really challenging for a couple of developers that I personally interacted with, and I really hope that this coming year will be more prosperous in terms of financing for the industry. So that's that for 2025. Let's have an outlook into 2026. What do we expect? What should we expect to see? As an investor, what should you expect to see, and how can you position yourself to take advantage of opportunities that you would see this year? One primary thing you should expect to see is infrastructure-driven growth. Considering that a high percentage of the budget for this year is targeted at infrastructure, and infrastructure drives real estate, so that's a sign. We're going to see more infrastructure projects, transport links, rail lines, and new economic zones that will definitely reshape and drive more attention to emerging areas and other connected corridors. So yes, expect to see infrastructure-driven growth. Secondly, what do you expect in 2026? We expect to see more diaspora and foreign investments. Yes, I personally began to experience this from October, November, December of 2025. With improved transparency and payment platforms, diaspora investors are likely to deepen their investments, particularly in the housing market. Yes, short-let rentals, generally the housing sector. And maybe they add a few lands to their portfolio. Let's see how it goes. But I know that more diaspora investors are more open to investing in the housing market right here in Nigeria. So we're going to see more of that. The third thing that we're going to see in 2026 is that beyond traditional land banking investment, residential and commercial land, we are going to see more investment in agriculture. Yes, the agro-related market is emerging as a key frontier, especially in urban areas and rural corridors where lands are still reasonably affordable, but the productivity is high, location is accessible. So we're going to see more investment in agro-real estate. And if you are an investor, you've invested in residential, invested in commercial, I would say consider diversifying your portfolio. Owning one or two agri investments, I think that's your portfolio. It's future forward. So think about it and invest in the agri industry. So that's that. That's a brief overview of the 2025 market and what we expect to see in 2026. Now, so these are my own predictions, right? They would happen, and the economy, the market could even take an entirely different turn, considering that we are approaching general elections in 2027. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, and then take opportunities when they come our way, right? So that's it. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you have questions, you can drop them. I would like to hear your thoughts as well. What do you think? What do you see happening in this new year? What do you think about what happened in the market last year? What advice can you share to realtors, developers? If you're an investor, drop one or two advices in the comment section for investors, for realtors, and for developers as well. Let's have a conversation, right? So let me know if you find this video helpful, and I will see you in my next video. I need to also add this. It's a new year, and I believe that we have goals, we have projects we have set to achieve in this new year. If you're looking to invest in real estate, whether in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Ibadan, I would love the opportunity to meet with you, to have a call with you and end your business. I'm looking forward to serving you as your preferred real estate consultant. Like I said before, I provide decent housing solutions, and my goal is to help you grow your net worth with without working too hard. So if you want to reach out to me, my contact number, email, and social media platforms will be in the description of this video. Reach out to me and let's work together for a prosperous 2026. Once again, Happy New Year and have a wonderful, wonderful year ahead.